Hey, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning back in. I am standing here today in the forestry field. We are bringing down some okay normal logs, 4.5 meter long, 30 centimeters in the top. Yeah, and basically these are for the farm that I live on. We are renovating that and fixing it up here and there. This especially is going to be 8-inch thick boards as floor. Honestly, I'm actually finding quite a lot of interesting trees here. I'm just walking around in the top of where I've been logging, and yeah, there's a lot of nice trees here. Question is how hard it is going to get them down from here. I don't know. I think we're just shy of 80. No, we're probably 100 meters. Yeah, I bet you it's about 110 meters from where I stand and down to the road. The trees that I'm cutting are about 40 meters tall, 35 maybe. We're probably good still because they will jump quite far, but we're just going to cut them down, limb them, and pull them down with a winch, standing right down there, and put the timber wagon on and just drive them down. Hopefully that will be about, I'm thinking I can make 2 episodes of that, but I'm not really feeling that good this week, so I can't make any promises on that. We will keep going on this series, and yeah, that is the plan right now. Get these logs down and then we'll start on this section, which will be just a completely new adventure. So I'm looking at these trees. This one is not any good. It's got a long hook in it, kind of thin. There's a lot of limbs on these spruce trees, but that's a good one. Decent, somewhat usable. I'm going to get this one and that one down there. We got a few good trees there. Of course, we have to cut some of this dead stuff and some of these smaller trees. It'll be an exciting project. I think today will mostly just be felling and limbing. On this episode we will be going through different face cuts, just a few experiments, trying different stuff. We got a 20-inch bar and we're cutting a lot of small stuff. So I'm going to show the basic typical face cut and back cut that we do in Scandinavia. I've actually grown to call it the Scandinavian cut or something like that. I can't really recall it, but I think that's what we call it in Guilty of Treason's video when he was logging here. I really recommend you go check that out. Really good video. The guy has great content, and yeah. Bit of a thick hinge wood there, but that thing was starting to lean as the wind started to blow. That's why I got the felling iron. I'm going to start with the just the classical Humboldt, because this is super convenient when the trees are standing in like positions like this where there's soil up here but there's no soil down here. That way you can have the upside down face cut, the Humboldt, because basically there's just no reason having the face cut up here where the good stuff is. Use the root instead, a lot more practical. A lot of the weight is now over here. The roots indicate that it's been leaning this, not leaning, but kind of holding itself, like leaning into there, which means the tree kind of is pulling that way, which it is. But yeah, also the face cut does not have to be absolutely flush all the time. It's optimal, but if you can't really get it, then it doesn't matter. Don't use all of the back cut. I'm about 50-50 right now, which is a bit too much for my taste. Ideally I should have gotten a bit steeper angle on it, but that's hard because of the root. I'm going to get a bit steeper on it now, just so that it actually closes up. So that's actually worked really good. Even though that is a super sketchy face cut right there, or not face cut, but hinge wood, it really did do the job for me. So I actually swooped in to get the mill instead of having to go further, because basically this holding wood doesn't really do that much. It does a lot, but it don't really need it that much. So rather than going way too far on this side, I just swooped straight in. Hinge wood doesn't always need to look perfect for it to work. It doesn't look like I have a lot of hinge wood here, but I actually have a lot. It's just hanging on there. You can barely see it on the log there. And that's actually worked really, really good for me. It's all flat and ready for the mill, really. Often you see a lot of people, they cut off the last 50 centimeters depending on how big their face cut is. Often you see people having way too tall face cuts and have to cut a lot of the log off. But yeah, for these kind of situations I really do like the Humboldt, because it jumps off, as you saw, and it gets a like aeroplane kind of a landing. So it did split, obviously, because this is a steep downhill. It's a lot steeper than it looks, but because it jumps, you kind of get that landing kind of style. You see the log actually hit right there. It started to land there, and then it landed on a lot of other logs, and that also kind of helped it. and most of those logs are dry spruce, aka firewood, so I'm not really that afraid of losing it. So I got the face cut and it's about 50-50 again. I don't like that, but it's just how it's gonna be with this tree. It's leaning kind of heavily, so I'll do a Scandinavian on this one. So, in case some of you don't know yet what a Scandinavian is, what I actually call that. Now usually I call the Scandinavian one with a conventional. And it's when you usually bore in like flat with the hinge wood and face cut. And you turn your saw around. Basically you end up with this. This tree was too small to do that technique, but you end up with that. And then you kind of have this cracking on me. Oh wow, the wind blowing. It's got a lot of holding wood still right here, which even is holding the tree when it's blowing on it. But it's kind of all in there. And now it's not blowing, so I'm gonna cut it down pretty fast. Is it going? Yeah. Basically this is the technique I usually use for most of my wood. That's what she said. I bore in like that. The bar comes in like that, not all the way through. Never do that. That's a bore cut. This is essentially a bore cut. But a bore cut, you usually go all the way through to the other side. You don't want to do that. And then you follow the wood around. Pull the saw out a bit. You have to know where the tip of your bar is. You see, that's why you often get that in the middle. Because sometimes it's hard to know exactly where the tip of the bar is. And you stop just when the top of your bar is just halfway. That's when you want to stop. Because the bottom of your bar is further. So essentially what you got is 1/4 of the wood left. And that's kind of the idea. When you have that, you want to start pushing in those wedges. This is on a retired wedge, just sitting here, waiting for it to be used as a backup or something. But yeah, that is the idea. And once you have the wedge or wedges or whatever you use in, then you want to keep cutting, stopping and banging that wedge in every now and then until you know that you have a nice and flat, even holding wood. Essentially, that's the idea. Essentially, what I made here is a falling table. You fall trees on top of it and they slide on down there. And it's pretty easy to just pull them down with the winch. That's a nice log. We're going to take that with these other logs. So we got essentially 1, 2, maybe 3 logs in that. 2 logs in that one. I bet we got about 1 log in there. We got 2, maybe 3 logs in that big one up there. Yeah, we're going to take this one down and then we can start taking these guys down. I'm gonna try back cut first again. I honestly haven't used back cut first, ever. Just did my first couple of trees right now in this video. Somebody jogging down there. But yeah, I want to try that. I hear people using it so that they can get the wedge in first. To slowly manipulate it over. A lot of holding wood on this still though. I think I might just go full Scandinavian on this, and we'll see how much it splits. I think it's going to split a lot in the top. So let's just try that. This is the Scandinavian. It's a pretty wide open face cut right there. This really does hurt because in this situation, the Humboldt would have been a lot more ideal. I'm not an expert, but I'd say that's pretty close to 45-degree cut. I'm actually aimed a bit too much towards that tree right there. I wanted to aim more on that over there, but I don't know. This one was kind of hard. I don't know, it wasn't hard, it was easy, but the I guess I don't do the conventional that much anymore, right? So yeah, we'll just try to get the Scandinavian back cut going here, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. So that was a lot less hinge wood than I wanted. I kind of forgot myself. I was just going 1 inch, which often I do with these trees because you really don't need that much more. But what I did forget is that I want more hinge wood on this side because I want the tree to pull this way. What I'll do is I'll do a cut on the other side under the face cut. That way I know it won't hinge the other way. These places are not ideal for wedges, but this is such a small tree, so I kind of think it will be alright. Though I might actually just chop off just to be. So the idea now is that it's kind of like with the back cut first. You kind of get to manipulate the tree the other way first. So that actually just annihilated my wedge there a bit. I got kind of on it, and I got an angle on the back cut, which is not good. Also, that actually just demolished 2 logs. Might actually been 3 if it demolished itself as well. I do not really recommend the conventional unless you're actually doing flat forestry. Like, if you want to get as low as possible on those stumps, all the way to the ground. I could have gone lower here actually. And you got a flat surface, go for it. I do conventional all day. But in Norway, the realism, I guess, and many places in the States, I know that you just gotta do the Humboldt because you gotta get that jump, you gotta get that softer landing. Doesn't matter if it's just 10% softer, you gotta go for it. But that is why you do not do the conventional on flat, on hilly places like this. You could go sideways, which would have been the ideal thing to do. If I had logs going upwards here, I just follow them onto them and they would roll down. That would be the ideal thing right here. But in case you didn't notice, that is what I'm making. That is why I'm going up in a line. I'm not taking everything with me as I go. So the hope is that I will have logs going kind of as train tracks up to about 50 meters above here. Not even that, 30-40 meters above here. But yeah, let's get down this other tree and let's do a Humboldt on that and see the difference. You want some Gatorade? This is working really well. I can now just continue my business limbing this tree. Oh, my phone is calling. So I'm really not happy about how that conventional turned out. That actually did set me back quite far, or not, it didn't set me back, but you spend a lot more time limbing because it just makes such a big mess out of everything. There's not a lot of wood that split, but it's just not ideal. It was 3 logs to split, and you know, it's just that bit much more winching and work. I just don't see the necessity in that. So that really is the reason why I use the Humboldt, because it's just, yeah, you get that jump, and I feel like it's a bit more smooth, especially in the terrain that I work in. I guess the annoying thing about it is sometimes you get really high stumps, but that's good for planting new trees. So let's get this one. windy as well. She's going. She's going. She was eager on going over. That was, I'd say that's pretty good holding wood. Does not matter if you cut the middle. Remember that. You don't have to be super shy. You want to keep it as much as possible, of course, but you don't need to. Didn't have to go further in than that with the wedge. I wanted to go. It was even blowing the other way. It was standing straight. That's the nice thing about the Humboldt. It starts to kind of push itself down there. No roots on this side. There's a little bit there. There's this one. That's not a lot. You see that? This is where it's been holding itself. But once you get that underwood gone, she just starts to sit down on it. She starts kind of want to rest on that. There she is. There was not a lot of wedging at all. Well, pinched my bar. It was dead, so it leaned back faster than I thought it would, so I didn't get to push my wedge in there. And my backup saw is out of battery, so there's why you don't buy a battery saw. I have been axing my way through here. Most people would be like, oh, why don't you just drive down and get a new battery? Well, why not do it like this? Oops. I never done this before. I only seen it on YouTube. I don't know how deep I should go with this. So she said. It was cracking just a minute ago. That might mean that I should go for a backup now. I'm just trying to kind of clean it up. Well, that's not half bad either. It was kind of cool to try that, but it did not go as anticipated. It's just brought the face kit with it as well. Actually not half bad, I can just pull it down there. Now I was actually hurrying up because I knew that I was going to start to blow any minute. But I wasn't fast enough. That's interesting that. I actually seem to have cut the holding wood, almost all of it over here. There's just a rotten branch holding it. I actually fell the way that I was standing as well. That could have been gnarly. Be careful out there, guys. Also, this is why I bring an axe instead of a hammer, because you never know when you actually do need an axe that is sharp and made for that. How is the bar, by the way? Bar seems to be fine. That is insane that it went that way. It was leaning so hard in there. I was sure it would go there. But that actually gave me an idea. I think we might actually just try to do a old-fashioned logging video one day. I think we'll do that. Because we do have a cutting saw for 2 guys. And I'll just bring someone and we'll do the face cut with the axe, and then we'll follow it with the saw. That would be really cool to try that. We'll do that further up because it's flatter up there. Well, that was an exciting end. I think that we'll call that enough vlogs. I have put down a lot of vlogs off camera. Everything can't come in there, you know. It'll be super long videos. I'm trying to stay somewhere between 20 to 30 minutes, 35 max. Sometimes they get around 40, but that's just, it's hard to kind of get a story out of all of it without keeping much of the essential photos in there, if you know what I mean. But thank you for watching that. I'll catch you in the next one.